Hello, everyone. Hope you all are doing great. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all who all are joining us globally. I am Partharu, Events and Program Manager for Microsoft Reactor. And yes, I welcome you all for yet another episode of Copilot Chronicles. But before we start our today's event, let's go through our code of conduct. We are all here to learn together, participate together. So please be respectful of other people's views, understanding the difference, and be kind and considerate in a way you all engage. Yes, please drop all your questions in the comment section and we'll pick it up from there. Now, I would not like to delay further much. I would like to bring our host of Copilot Chronicles, that Kamalashri. Kamalashri is a developer advocate from Microsoft 365, and our today's guest, Rajesh, who's joining us from Singapore. Hi, Kamal. Hi, Rajesh. Hope you all are doing great.
Absolutely good, Parth. I'm really excited for this session because we have one of our colleagues actually joining all the way from Singapore to talk about more on how to revolutionize work with Copilot Agent. So yeah, it's like everywhere we have agents and we have loads of variation and ways to create things in agent because at the end of the day we all are working in a work culture, right? So we have to see how we can kind of automate tasks or enhance productivity or make a smarter decision making, right? So I'm
Yep.
sure today's session by Rajesh, who's a cloud architect, solution architect at Microsoft, working from Singapore location, is going to explore like how Copilot agents are revolutionizing workflow across industry, from automating business process to providing intelligent assistant in enterprise application. So, without further ado, I would love to welcome Rajesh to the Copilot Chronicle series.
Yep.
Uh, Thanks, Parth. Thanks, Varu. Thanks, Kamal, for giving this wonderful opportunity. And hello, everyone. Welcome, and thanks for your time, allocating your time to join on this session. So we will today look into how we can get started with Copilot agents, right from creating the agent using the Copilot Studio Agent Creator or even also SharePoint, right? So we'll get started. So just a quick introduction about me. I'm Rajesh from Singapore. I have close to 18 years of experience and currently working as cloud solution architect for ASEAN, primarily focusing on Microsoft 365 Copilot and modern workloads as well. So you can connect with me with my LinkedIn profile. You can see the QR code here, and also I do write about Copilot and other technology as well. So you can connect with me in this Medium blog. So let's get started. So today, what are we going to do and our agenda? So it's going to be get started with agents at a high level introduction of agents and how we build and manage an agent and how we can share and use agents for ourselves or for the team as well. And also a quick demo of how we can create agents and how we interact with the agents. So what you will be learning from this session is like what is all about Copilot agents, its capabilities, and what are the range of available agents. Not all the agents. I mean, of course, Microsoft has loads of agents right now. They've been released, but we will talk or see about only the getting started things like how to get hands-on with agents, understanding the concept, and then you will have an experience of creating a Copilot agents through some demos. So first section to get started with agents, we will understand what are agents, who and how we can create an agent to use it, and also explore the benefits of using the agent and how we can enhance the collaboration using the agents, and also when it comes to agents or any end user applications or tool, there's always an IT governance controls for agents. So we can see how we can examine the IT governance control for the agents which you create or you use it in your organization. So what are agents? So basically, it's like you have different type of agents within the Microsoft 365 ecosystem. Basically, it's there are like pre-built agents or ready-made SharePoint agents where you just create agents with one click, or there are agents for everyday business user, and also there is advanced level of agents which is being created by pro code using the Visual Studio or to Teams toolkit. So these agents can be developed in different places depending on your requirement, the business use case, and what kind of business problems you are trying to solve. So each agent can offer the functionalities along with a personalized support, which means that you can customize the agent as per your requirement and how you want to integrate your agent into the workflow. So I will start out with quickly a video about showing about a SharePoint agents.
Rajesh, I we can't hear the audio. Somehow I don't know why.
Okay, just give me one sec, Parth.
Yes, yes.
Okay, how about now?
Folders.
Yes.
Okay.
Your organization is creating more content than ever before, making it overwhelming and time consuming for users to make sense of it. How can you get answers and meaningful insights that help drive decisions quickly? With agents in SharePoint. Ask a question, and the agent generates responses from only the documents in your SharePoint site, folders, and files, so you can trust the results are relevant. Every SharePoint site comes with a ready-made agent that's specific to the site's content. And if you want an agent unique to your task or project, any SharePoint user can create and use their own agent in one click. Simply choose only the folders or files you need and select Create an Agent. Click Share to choose the colleagues who need access to the agent, and you're ready to make smarter decisions together. Or click Copy Link, paste it into an Outlook email, and send it on. You can also add your link right to a Teams chat, giving others instant access. Simply @mention the agent to get answers to questions from your content. Now you're all working with the same information live. When you and your team are in lockstep, you can act faster on key insights. Make the agent work for you by editing the default name, adding branding and additional files, and changing the settings right in the Agent Builder. For deeper customizations, like including sources outside of your SharePoint or adding actions, head to Copilot Studio. Your agents also follow your default SharePoint user permissions and the Microsoft 365 governance and security you already trust. Unlock new insights and foster collaboration to make smarter decisions with agents in SharePoint.
Okay, so that gives us a glimpse of what is all about the SharePoint agents. Now we can see who can create and use agents. So for organizations that don't purchase a Microsoft 365 Copilot subscription, all the users who have any Microsoft 365 licenses are automatically covered under the Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat plan. This plan is often referred to as Copilot for All. By default, all the chat plan only access the web content, which generates its responses, and it doesn't access the work data or your graph grounded data. So if you do not have a license, when you log into Copilot using the m365.cloud.microsoft with your Entra ID, all you can see is a web grounded data where you can use it for your research or access any web content. But organizations who want to take their Copilot experience for the users to the next level can purchase a 365 Copilot plan for all or selected members of the workforce, and it remains the Microsoft Premier Personal AI Assistant for work, encompassing all the features of Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat and more. So When a user is assigned a Copilot license, the Copilot chat becomes even more powerful. It utilizes the company's M365 data through Microsoft Graph, which integrates directly with your all the Microsoft 365 apps and utilizes advanced measurement and management tools. So users without the Copilot licenses can still use the work data if their organization has a pay-as-you-go or a metered billing plan, which means that on a consumption basis. And also the company enables the tenant graph rounding data in Copilot Studio, similar to organizations with a Copilot chat plan. But keep in mind that a company can assign a Microsoft 365 Copilot license to some users while also using the pay as you go model for the other users. For example, a company might assign Copilot licenses to its core users who need full access to all the Copilot features, which primarily work with all the M365 applications or the integrated features. At the same time, the company might apply its pay-as-you-go plan to other users who don't have a Copilot license, but who still need to use certain Copilot features, such as tenant graph rounding. So the company would get charged for these users based on these usage. Next, we will look about SharePoint agents. So the agent in SharePoint is very specific to the SharePoint sites, and the ability for a user to create and use agents on a SharePoint site depends on whether the user is a site member or site visitor, and also the SharePoint agents can be extended to external users as well. So when we say site members, who are like site members are basically can create and use the agents on the site if they are assigned edit permission or higher for the site, maybe a site owner as well. This requirement enables them to develop own agents that extend the functionality of the site. It also allows them to create, edit, and delete documents, lists, and libraries within the site. They also can participate in discussions, create and modify pages, and perform various other activities based on the permissions granted to them. The site visitors are users generally have read-only permission for a site. This permission level means that they can view the content, but they can't create, edit, or delete any content on the site. So basically, they will have only just read access to go through. They can view the document, but cannot make any modifications. They can also use the agents that are shared with them, but they can't create agents on their own or edit the existing SharePoint agents. The SharePoint agent approval process allows other site members or the visitors to access approved agents. The person who creates an agent can use it without approval, but approval is required to make the agent available for other site users. So for external users, like typically an external user isn't explicitly assigned as a site member, but they typically default to being considered as a site visitor with read permissions, similar to the internal employees. Since an external user is assigned as either a site member or a visitor, the rules involving agent access for the site members and visitors that were outlined earlier apply to them as well, just like any other site member or the visitor. Some organizations also treat the selected external users as their internal employees. So they create their account and have them their own intro ID. They do so by assigning one of the licenses and also the Copilot license to the external users. While this isn't a common practice, but it does happen in specific scenarios where external collaborators or partners must have the same capabilities as internal employees to contribute effectively to a project. In case the organization is working closely with vendor or any partners who has to drive the a project, or particularly working on any adoption or rollout, they can be considered or given an intro id internal id, and they can be considered as an internal user. So we have to understand what kind of external user and what is the requirement. Depending on the your users, we can assign the license to the external users. So basically they are like as I mentioned, external consultant, or maybe a joint venture, or maybe a long-term partnerships, or if the external user is working on special project that requires extensive collaboration, and they can assign the licenses to them. So what are the benefits of the agents? What are some of the key benefits is task simplification. So basically the primary benefits of the agents in SharePoint and the Copilot chat is the ability to simplify the routine task, which keeps on doing. You have some task on daily basis, and you do that, and you can use the agents to simplify that. So these agents can assist with tasks such as document organization, metadata tagging, and managing document versions. For instance, an agent could automatically suggest relevant metadata tags based on the document content, helping users stay organized without manual effort. Doing so reduces the time spent on the administrative work and helps ensure documents are accurately categorized and easy to find. It also helps on the improved data search, which will enhance the search functionality within both SharePoint and the Copilot chat. While the traditional search tools can sometimes return irrelevant or incomplete results, these agents help users quickly locate the most relevant document and the information. For example, the agents can suggest documents that match the context of a user's current task or the conversation, and with no technical setup required, this improvement makes it very much easier for us to access the information what we need, even in large repositories of the data. It definitely provides a better collaboration, and it helps make the teamwork smoother and more efficient both in SharePoint and Copilot Chat. It supports a real-time collaboration by offering a contextual updates, suggestions, and reminders. When multiple users are working on a shared document, for example, an agent can alert the team members to changes or updates in real time, helping everyone stay aligned. So, this reduces the chances of miscommunication and ensures that all collaborators are on the same page. The other benefit is personalized user experience, which definitely, by adapting by individual work styles and preferences. So if you're like someone who frequently work with certain documents or tasks, the agent can prioritize these activities and offer helpful shortcuts. These agents doesn't require any programming skills to set up, and also are designed to adapt over time, making the digital workspace more intuitive and responsible for each user. And top of everything, you still have your Microsoft security and compliance monitoring for organizations and agents who assist in monitoring the document access and usage within the SharePoint and Copilot chat. These agents help ensure that the sensitive information remains secure by enforcing the simple access controls and sending the alerts if documents are being accessed or modified inappropriately. And for the enhancement of collaboration, so basically we see those as one of the benefits that it improvises the collaboration within the organization. So how it can help, using the agent features or the security considerations. For example, the SharePoint agent can provide you real-time assistance in cross-team collaboration. So when I say real-time, it offers the help by providing suggestions as and guidances as they work. So for example, a SharePoint agent might recommend relevant documents based on the content you are working on, or provide tips on how to use the features like document sharing or task assignment. These agents are easy to use with no technical setup required. And then using the Copilot chat, you can extend the agents to Microsoft Teams, where the agents can assist the users by understanding the context of a conversation and offering helpful information. For example, while discussing a project, the agent could suggest related documents or upcoming tasks. These agents can be set up to help with day to day tasks without any coding, making it really easy for the team members to stay on track. The other side is enhanced search capabilities. So agents make searching for documents much more easier by understanding the context of your work. So if you're working on a specific project, it can help you find the documents related to the project, and even if they don't have the exact keywords you are searching for. These type of tasks are all done through basic search settings that anyone can configure without needing programming or development skills. And the Copilot chat agents also can enhance the search by quickly bringing up the documents or the information during your conversation. It can instantly suggest previous reports or the files related in that particular discussion. And this search feature is built in and can be easily accessed by anyone. Moving on to next one is the IT governance control. So when we say agents, right, it's all about in real world, many customers ask, okay, how we can manage, how we can have control over the agent. Because when you assign a Copilot license to the users have the ability to create agents and they can share or publish the agents. So how, as an organization or IT administrator, can govern this and manage these agents? So as implementing IT governance control is really crucial for many reasons, and some of them is to make sure that we are ensuring the compliance. Because agents, like any other IT system, must comply with relevant laws, regulations, and also the industry standards. Effective governance controls help the organization adhere to these requirements, avoiding legal or financial penalties. For instance, adhering to industry specific regulations like HIPAA, or shortly called as HIPAA, in the healthcare sector is very essential. And it also helps, we have to make sure that enhancing security is a paramount concern for the deployment of agents. Proper governance controls ensure that these agents operate within the secure environments, protecting sensitive data from unauthorized access and also mitigating potential security threats. Organizations often implement encryption protocols to safeguard the data and prevent breaches. And the other benefits of having an IT governance control is to have or maintain the quality and reliability of the agents by establishing standards for the development, deployment, and operation. These controls ensure the agents are performed as expected and provide accurate and valuable outputs. Regular testing of validation of the agent functionalities also can help to maintain the high quality of standards, and also it will improve the user experience of using the agents as well. And also it will help us in facilitating the accountability. So by defining the roles and responsibilities, IT governance controls promote the accountability within the organization. Doing so ensures that individuals who create or publish agents involved in the department and management are aware of their duties and can be held accountable for their actions. So, establishing a clear chain of command and reporting structure within the department can enhance the accountability. So how we can do so the we have so far we have seen the benefits of having a proper IT governance controls. So how we can maintain this, how we can start, what are the ways we can do it, right? So to establish the effective governance for agents, organizations can consider implementing the following controls. Maybe like a policy development. You develop a comprehensive policies that outline the use, the management, and security of the agents. So this policy should also address the areas such as data privacy, your access control, and compliance with relevant regulations. The other thing is your risk management. Conducting or regular risk assessments to identify potential threats and vulnerabilities associated with the agents. Implement risk mitigation strategies to address the identified risk and ensure the agents operate within the acceptable risk levels. For instance, deploying firewalls and intrusion detection systems can mitigate the risk of cyber attacks for using the agents. Then the access control. So we have to make sure that we establish a robust access control mechanism to restrict unauthorized access to the agents. It's recommended to implement role-based access control to ensure that only authorized individuals can deploy or manage or interact with the agents. For example, using MFA to enhance security is one kind of the access control which we have for our logins, and also the data management system. So implementing a better or best data management practice ensures the integrity, the confidentiality, and the availability of data processed by the agents. Such practices includes data encryption, backup, and also recovery procedures. Then we can also use training and awareness. So when you deploy any technology, you have to make sure it is recommended to provide a proper training on how to use it and when and where to use it. So providing the ongoing training or the awareness programs within the organization for the employees to ensure they understand the importance of the IT governance controls and their role in maintaining them. This might include any training on policy adherence or security practices, or even end user training on how to understand the proper use of agents. So to successfully implement these IT governance controls, it is not a one person who does this, right? It has to be a collate, a holistic approach by the organization, and it includes multiple people. So make sure we engage the right stakeholders, including IT, legal, compliance team, and also the development and implementation of the governance control. So this ensures that the controls are comprehensive and address the needs of relevant parties. Establish a governance framework. It's very important to develop a governance framework that outline the processes, roles, and responsibilities for managing the agents. This framework should be aligned with organization goals and also the objectives. Do conduct regular audits and reviews of the agents and the governance control to ensure they remain effective and compliant with the relevant standards, and also make sure you address any identified gaps or any deficiencies promptly. And continuous improvement is very important on all the technology rollout or any kind of user adoption, where you have an approach to improvise by having a governance controls by regularly updating your policies, your procedures and practices based on the feedback, industry trends, and also the emerging threats. So far, we have seen about what is all the agencies are all about, who can create the agents, and how we can use the IT governance control to manage those agents. Next thing, we are going to see how or the ways to build and manage an agent. So we will look at in this section examining the tools used to create agents and also explore the components of agents. So the first thing, the tools, how you can create agents. So there are multiple ways, as I mentioned, you can create agents. One is using the Copilot Studio Agent Builder tool in the Copilot chat, and the other one is the Copilot Agent tool in your SharePoint site. So the key features of the Copilot Studio Agent Builder tool used by everyday business users with we call it as a low code, which means that you don't need a programming or a development experience to create the agents in Copilot chat. So it provides versatility that allows you to creation of more versatile agents, and they can be not only used in your Copilot chat but also across various platforms such as Microsoft Teams and other Microsoft 365 applications. It provides advanced capabilities such as adding SharePoint sites and documents as the knowledge sources, integrating the code interpreter tool, and also enabling the image generation with the agent as well. And it provides a better customization. The users can define the personality and capabilities of the agent and connect it to various knowledge bases, create actions using plugins, prompts, connectors, and also can design rule-based topics. Then the agents created with the agent builder can be deployed across various channels and modalities, including custom websites, mobile apps, SMS, and many more. The Copilot agent in tool in SharePoint has key features of integration. For example, you can integrate directly into different SharePoint sites, allowing the page viewers to access the agents without needing to navigate away from the site. But remember, for the users who would like to create agent in SharePoint or would like to consume agent in SharePoint, has to have a Microsoft 365 Copilot licenses. Then it helps in a better grounding, like the SharePoint agents are grounded in the content of the specific SharePoint content, such as sites, document libraries, and files. This design ensures the responses generated by the agent are relevant to the site's purpose. Then the usage. The users can interact with these agents within the SharePoint environment, and the agents can also share in group chats where participants can interact with the agent in the chat thread. Then the configuration, the tool provides both the Copilot Studio Agent Builder tool and also the SharePoint Agent tool provides a straightforward interface for creating and configuring agents, focusing on the specific needs and content of the SharePoint site. So when we do have multiple tools way to create a agents, right? So why, or why in which scenarios we have to use the Copilot Studio Agent Builder tool, or when we have to use the SharePoint Agent tool? So there are key differences between the two tools. I would like to say, for let's say I categorize into four different things. One is the scope and integration. So when it comes to Copilot Agent tool in SharePoint, when you create the agent is integrated directly into the SharePoint site, whereas the Copilot Studio Agent Builder in your chat is allows a broader scope and allowing the agents to be used across multiple platforms and integrated with various knowledge sources and capabilities, which you cannot do it in a SharePoint agent. Then the capabilities and customization. So the SharePoint agents provides a simpler, more focused interface for creating agents relevant only to the SharePoint content. But the Copilot Studio Agent Builder in the Copilot chat offers advanced customization options, including defining agent personality, connecting to multiple knowledge bases, and creating complex actions and rule-based topics. Then the SharePoint agents are deployed within the SharePoint and can be shared in group chats, wherein the Copilot chat agents can be deployed across various channels and they are governed by the various Microsoft 365 security controls as well. Now we will see when you create, there are multiple components which we need to be aware of. What does it say and why it's important? Which one is which one has a more importance and what is the impact does it make when you create an agent? So every other wizard, it has a name. It has an icon where you can upload an image file for your Copilot agent. And remember, it supports only PNG file type. So if you have any JPEG or any other file format, make sure you convert it before you use it as an icon for the Copilot agent. And the file size limit is just 1 MB for the icon. And the name of the agent can go up to 30 characters maximum. Then is the description. So make it short, like just to understand. This is mostly for the governing bodies who wants to know what is the agent is for. So make it short, precise, and simple as much as possible. So the system also displays it in the app file for the use in the app catalog. Next one is the instructions. If you use the describe tab to have the system create the agent for you, then the default instructions are automatically generated by the Copilot itself for you. So as and when you describe what the agent, what you want to do, or what is the task you want to achieve, instructions get generated automatically. But again, most of the times for us to get started, the default instructions will work. But in case if you are creating an agent for a specific business processes, you have to be more specific about the instructions. So that's one of the thing which I like it personally. The beauty of the tool is provides it all with the natural language instructions, and also it helps to generate all the behind the scenes programming code for you based on the instructions that you enter. So this is why an everyday business user with no programming or a coding experience can create an agent which can the tools can do the programming for itself. So here for the instructions, you have limitations of 8,000 characters maximum. And when you want to go for the instructions, provide as detailed as possible, like what it has to do, what it doesn't do, or how it has to respond, where it should pause, where it should ask questions, etc. For example, general assistance. So if you're creating agent for any general assistance purpose, you can mention something like provide users with information about the site, help them navigate through different sections, and answer any questions related to the content available on the site. So these are instructions apply to a general user-friendly task that would be easy to implement, created in Copilot Chat, and also it focuses in helping the users navigate the site and the access information, which is common for a simple chatbot or a virtual assistant built without the coding. But if your agent is targeted towards any task specific, then you have to more be specific on your instructions. For example, assist the users in locating key documents related to, uh, let's say, XYZ project, help the users to navigate the project's document library, provide brief description of the key files, and also offer easy access to project timelines and milestones. So you can see from the general instruction and also from a task specific instruction how it varies, depending on the agent behavior will also change. The other very key factor is the relevant or the relevancy towards the context of the agent responses. The more generic it will be, the responses will be more generic, but the more specific instruction or detailed instruction which you provide, the output can be more relevant and contextual as well. For example, again, if you are using as a customer support agent, then you can say something like help users with the common issues related to the site such as accessing documents, understanding the features, or troubleshooting the common problems. We would have definitely interacted in our day-to-day life with the agents, for example, your banking websites or your mobile websites, right? When you go to the website, there's a chatbot sitting there which will help you to provide initial level of troubleshooting by providing a steps from the documentation. So similarly, the agents can be built and can be published across various channels depending on your purpose and the business processes. The next key thing is the knowledge, and knowledge is a place where the agent acquires all the information from. So instead of, like, for example, if your agent wants to retrieve or learn from the SharePoint site or a public website or any document library, that is this is where you mention, right? So it allows you to configure specific knowledge sources for the agent to reference. So this helps the agent to provide more relevant answers based on specific files, folders, and SharePoint sites rather than providing a general output. So these source items can be different sites, folders, or the files as well. And also you can decide optionally whether the responses should include web content or not. So for example, if you're creating something very specific task-based agent, it's recommended to turn off the web content because it doesn't want to give any general content from the public websites. But if you are creating something like just like a help desk guide, I would not say help desk guide, but for example, general learning, a certification guide, right? I don't want to go through multiple websites of the Microsoft portal to understand what certification suits for me and how it can help. In those scenarios, you can definitely turn on the web content, which will also include the responses from other websites as well. So it has its own limitations when you mention about the knowledge sources, right? So you can include up to 20 source items depending on your organization, how much it allows for them, right? So for example, you can include any of the combinations of source material. For example, 20 individual files or 20 sites or 20 folders or 10 files plus 10 sites or 4 folders plus 16 files. So it is a combination of 20 knowledge sources, irrespective of whether it's a site, it's a folder, it's a file, or it's a graph connector. Okay, so it has to be maximum of 20. And then comes the capabilities, right? So under the capabilities, these are the features that are available only for creating agent in the Copilot chat using the Studio Agent Builder tool. They aren't available when you are creating a SharePoint agent. We will see how the interface differs, between a Copilot chat agent and the SharePoint agent later in the demo. Then you have something called code interpreter and also the image generator, right? So what is code interpreter? Basically, it enables the agent to solve complex tasks using the Python code. However, you don't write the Python code that's used by the agent. That's the job of the code interpreter. So you enter a natural language prompt in the agent, and the code interpreter interprets the meaning of your prompt and generates a Python code behind the scenes to satisfy your request. Just as you don't need a programming experience to create an agent, you also don't need a programming skills or a development knowledge to use the Copilot interpreter. Then there is an image generator, which is again optional for you to turn it on or turn it off, and it generates image based on your user prompts. So behind the scenes, it uses the existing designer functionality to create a visually appealing and contextually relevant graphics. For example, you can ask the agent to create an image of a serene beach at sunset with palm trees, and or design a flyer with a summer festival. So the image generator can produce multiple images for each prompt, and as a consumer or a user, you can interact with these images by viewing them in full size, or you can download or modify them with subsequent prompts. So how you basically create images using a designer website directly. Then, so now we have the agents, like, so how to manage these agents. For example, you have created a SharePoint site agent or maybe a Copilot chat agent. What happens or how we can manage it, right? So uninstalling an agent in a Copilot chat and deleting an agent are two different things. So uninstalling it means which is removed from your agent pane, which means that the UI will not show it for your use, right? So agent disappears from your UI and it's not no more visible for you. But uninstalling an agent in chat can be beneficial for several reasons. and it's kind of a temporary removal. So if you only need to remove the agent temporarily, uninstalling it allows you to do so without losing the configuration or the data associated with it. In this case, uninstalling can be useful if you plan to use the agent again in the future. So some of the agents we might be using it on day-to-day basis, or some of the agents, agents we normally don't use it much often, day-to-day basis, right? For example, within Microsoft, we have something called KYC, so which is know your customer agent. So if we want to, if you're preparing for an engagement with any customer, for that matter, like any Copilot engagements, we want to understand the background of the customer, like how many licenses they have, how many Copilot licenses they are utilized now, what is the current status, and whether they're enterprise or SMB or SMC, right? We ask the Copilot agent or the KYC agent. We give the customer's name to the agent, and it will pull up all the relevant details for us. So this is an agent which, as a cloud solution architect, we use it on day-to-day basis. So we all always have that agent pinned, and I never uninstall it. But again, some other agents which is developed by internal team members, or just for testing, or maybe even for fun, right? So we use it, and then I can uninstall it because I'm not going to play with around with it. So I can uninstall it from my interface, so I doesn't want my interface to look cluttered, right? Then, as I mentioned, testing and troubleshooting. So the uninstalling agent can be part of your troubleshooting process as well. That if you suspect that the agent is causing any issues, you can uninstall to see if that resolves the problem. If it does, you can decide whether to delete the agent permanently or reinstall it after making necessary adjustments. Then resource management. Sometimes you want to free up the resources or declutter your library. As I mentioned, I do not want my UI to be cluttered with a lot of agents. So I also, make sure I review what are the agents I use, and then I uninstall it, the one which I'm not using for more than like 15 or 30 days. And also, if you have spent a significant time customizing an agent, uninstalling it preserves these customizations. But deleting the agent would mean losing all the work you have put into configuring it. So you have to decide whether you want to uninstall or you want to delete the agent. And also the user access control. So in some cases, you might want to temporarily restrict the access to an agent where you are more making any changes. For example, you are upgrading the agents with more additional knowledge, or providing more capability. And at that time, you want to have the users not to access the agent, right? So you can have that users control to make sure that nobody accesses it during the upgrade. So uninstalling provides a lot of flexibility and preserves to reuse the agent. And in contrast, deleting, an agent from a Copilot chat is like a permanent action that removes all the configuration associated with the agent, such as all the instructions which you provide, your starter prompts, your interaction history, your integration settings, and so on. In SharePoint, there is no distinct uninstall process. So what we have discussed so far is all on the Copilot Studio agent built from the Copilot chat. But the SharePoint doesn't have this. Instead, SharePoint focuses on managing and deleting the content directly within its interface. So you can also delete your agent chat history. You can delete the chat history for a specific conversation or the entire chat history. And also you can delete your agent interaction history as well, like how you do it for your normal Copilot interactions. So let's say you share, you created an agent, and you're convinced that okay, this agent is useful. Now let me share it with other users in my team or my department or even my entire organization, and how we can use it, right? So there are multiple ways you can share an agent with other users, or you can share an agent with in Microsoft Teams, and how you interact with. So we will see how, no, for each of the share use cases here. So sharing with the other users, right? So it ensures that all the relevant team members have access to the agent capabilities. This will also enable the users to benefit from the automated assistance and information which the agent provides you. So these also benefits can significantly enhance your team productivity, and it can also help to streamline the workflows by allowing every user to quickly find answers and performance the task without needing to leave the SharePoint environment. Sharing an agent helps maintain consistency and accuracy across the stream. So you all have a common source of truth from where the agent picks up the answer. Because, as I said, like agent provides centralized source of information and assistance, and all users receive the same guidance and support. In turn, the risk of errors and discrepancies is reduced when you are using the agents. Sharing the options for agents created in the Copilot chat they have three options you can share, like anyone in your organization. So anyone in your tenant can use the sharing link to use the agent, or you can define specific users in the organizations, either can by a security group, and this user groups must be specified through the security group in your tenant's Microsoft directory or the entry ID. And then you can use agent only for yourself, so only the author of the agent can use the agent, and no one can use the sharing link. So this sharing option is selected by default. So when you create an agent, the default is only you can access the agent unless you share it with anyone or specific users in the organization. When a user's access to the agent is removed, it doesn't affect their access to the shared files or folders. So it's just the agent's access is removed and not their access to the SharePoint site, the files or the folders, or maybe the knowledge sources. So the agent here responds based on the permission of the person asking the question. So when you share an agent with others, they can access only the sources from which they have permission. So if you are someone who's already familiar with Copilot or how it works, right? Copilot doesn't have any kind of access by itself. So if you are a user, and as a user, if you're not able to access any resource, Copilot cannot access. And the same goes with agents as well. So the permissions for the site, the pages, the files included in the agent don't automatically adjust when the agent is shared. So therefore, you might need to update the sharing permissions on the agent resources to ensure others can fully utilize the agents. And when sharing the agents in SharePoint, when a site admin or a owner for the agent gets automatically approved, so it doesn't go for any approval processes. Why we have that in SharePoint agents? Because the site owner or the admin has the necessary permission and authority to create and approve agents without requiring the normal approval step. And as such, the agents is immediately available to other site members or visitors once the site admin or the owner creates it. So this approval process also ensures that the agent is appropriate for the site and its users. Sharing it in Microsoft Teams, right? So when you share it as an agent with others, they can only access the sources for which they have permission, right? And you can there's like some of the benefits which you share agent in Teams provides you enhanced collaboration when you share it in Teams, like integrating an agent. It facilitates a seamless collaboration among the team members, and it allows for real-time updates and notifications, ensuring that everyone is on the same page and also can contribute effectively to the projects which are working or any kind of collaboration intent. It increases the efficiency by automating the workflows, reducing the need for manual intervention, saving a lot of time, and minimizing the errors. By sharing, you streamline the tasks such as document approval or task assignment, status update, or leading to increased overall efficiency. It also provides accessibility and usability, as the agents are user friendly to individuals without technical expertise. Sharing them in a teams ensures that all the team members, regardless of the technical background, can easily interact with and benefit from these automated processes. And then Teams provides a centralized platform where all the relevant information, the documents, workflows are accessible. So sharing an agent in a Teams ensures that all of your team members have quick access to necessary resources, reducing the time spent searching for information across different platforms. And then it's absolutely scalable, where the agents can be easily scaled to meet the growing needs of your organization or even for your department or a team. So as your team expands, you can modify and share these agents in teams to accommodate new processes and workflows, ensuring that your operation remains effective and efficient as well. So how you can interact with the agents now that you shared, like how or when you should interact with the agents, right? So there are like agents only respond to questions using the information from the knowledge source which you have included when you create an agent, right? As such, your answer from an agent might sometimes be limited. So if necessary, you also should contact the site administrator if you need more access if you're using a SharePoint agent. And when a SharePoint hub site is included as a knowledge source for an agent, the hub's associated sites are also automatically included as part of the agent's knowledge sources. In turn, the agent uses the information from both the hub site and its associated sites to respond when you ask any question related to that. And the agents currently don't use data from the SharePoint list. And unfortunately, you cannot add pages from the site pages library as a knowledge sources for an agent at this point. Now let's see a quick real life use case of using agents in a SharePoint.
AMI are a UK-based organisation. We operate in safety critical industry. We design, maintain, operate and build assets for the UK infrastructure. We must touch probably 75% of everybody's life in the UK every day.
Access to safety information is critical to us, especially in the front line. Making sure that our people go home safely every day is our top priority.
The knowledge is fundamental to AMI. It is the kind of lifeblood of the organisation.
We are data rich as an organisation.
About 99% of the data that we hold within the organisation is held on SharePoint sites. We have about 180 million files.
Accessing that information in a timely manner is difficult.
Historically, that would have been a case of somebody stopping the work that they were doing, finding the folder that sits under the seat in their truck, looking through that folder, finding the right section, looking through the section, finding the right line.
A lot of our frontline staff don't have access to a laptop, don't have access to a computer, but they do have access to a phone. So now they're able to have an agent sitting in their pocket accessing our safety information.
It is able to look at any of those SharePoint sites and give us answers returned in a chat format and enable us to interact with the data that sits in any one of those SharePoint sites.
Straight away, I could see where problems that we've had before wouldn't need to happen, or we would be able to resolve them a lot quicker than what we'd have been doing before with paperwork and other tools.
They can access the information that they want, where they want it, how they want it, to be safer and more efficient where they're working. How amazing is it to be able to give our frontline workers the information they're looking for at the click of a button?
We've been out to some of our locations and they find it a really useful interface. They are amazed that the possibilities are endless.
It's been really nice to be able to demonstrate to them kind of some of the features of the product and how it can benefit them in their day-to-day life.
There are so many applications where we can do that and to do it quickly and easily as well.
Having all of that information digitized and available to you in a device where you can ask a question completely takes that challenge away.
It's completely transformative for them to be able to have a chat with that data to find the answer that they need. And not only that, they're able to do it in any language, even though the underlying documentation still remains in English.
Technology can be in all the places that our supervisors often can't. That means that they can troubleshoot some of their issues right there and then, and they can allow them to work safer or more efficiently.
We'll care for each other, we'll look out for each other, and that's not just because safety is a priority, it's because we actually do care for each other.
And ultimately, we can get people home safe and well every single day of the week.
100% agents in SharePoint is making my job safer.
Okay. Now let me show you a quick demo on how we can create agents, right? Sorry. Okay, here we go. All right, so this is your M365 chat or the Copilot window. I just go to this Copilot here. So this is how it looks like when you have a Copilot license, right? So you see the work and the web tab here. Otherwise, for users who doesn't have a Copilot licenses, they will see just the web here. Okay, so on the right side, if you go ahead, you can see this create agent button. And you also have get agents. So when you click on get agents, this is basically you can access the agents which is published by your organization or by your team, or even for any other external third-party agents as well, which you want to include in your in your workflow. Now let's say we want to go to create an agent here. I come here, I click on create an agent, right? So it opened up this UI in the user interface, and then you see the describe or the configure feature. Okay. So these are the different templates which Microsoft has released for all the Copilot users as a career coach or idea coach or learning coach, right? You can use any one of these templates, or you can configure on your own. For example, I'm going to create a certification agent. For example, I would like to create a Microsoft certification agent. All right, I just say is a natural language. I give this prompt, and then the Copilot, the builder tool, will, okay, it understands that it likes to create a certificate agent. It creates its own description, and then it would like to first give a name, right? So it says Microsoft certification guide, and on the right hand side, if you see, as we go ahead and building the agent, it will create the starting title cards and what are the kind, the name and the description as well. So I say just keep it as agent, no, Copilot Chronicles demo, or I just say keep it MS cert guide. Okay, I just say, and as and when I just say the name on the right side pane, you can see the name automatically will change, and then its title says MS cert guide. Okay, now it says next is to find the instructions for the agent. Now at this point, I will just would like to, you can go ahead and create the agent, or if you want to configure, you can manually configure as well. So you just click on configure here, and once you click on configure, it will take to a place where you can configure or customize your agent. So you can still integrate any of the template to this agent, or you see the name, the description, right? So we did not provide this description. We just tell the agent a prompt, right? So the builder tool automatically creates its description for you. And then when you scroll down, you see the instructions as well. So this is automatically created. So this is what we were talking about earlier. It says like assist the users with information about certification exam, provide study resources, and all those instructions. Here you can define your own instructions as well, depending on the agent and how you want to use it. Then you have the knowledge sources, right? So knowledge sources here you can have, the SharePoint site or a public website. For example, we can use learn.microsoft.com as a public website for this demo, and I just copy this URL here and I can paste it here. Okay, and similarly, you can have 20 different resources. Okay, and for this one, it just gets added right from the web. So I can directly open the website from here. I can have multiple websites also. And here, if you look at this option, you have this web search. So if I want to do web search, for example, there's a certification for AI 900. And if I would like to ask my agent about AI 900, it will provide the information primarily from this learn website, but also if I include a web search, if there are third party websites like MVP or any other individuals who blog about AI 900, that results will also include. So I do not want that in my agent. I want to be very specific from the learned website. Okay, so I just turn this off, and it will say, are you want to show? Okay, it's like I will just turn off this web content. Okay, it says if you turn off the web search, the websites you added will be removed, and your agent won't use them as a knowledge sources. Okay. All right. So it says like public websites cannot be used when you turn off the web search. So make sure that when you are giving a public website, the web search is turned on. And if you're using a SharePoint site, then it makes sense to turn off the web search, right? Then actions is the preview stage where you can use your studio actions to create a process flow or a workflow, based on the triggers and the actions. Then the capabilities, right? You can use this agent as a code interpreter, or you can use this capabilities as an image generator. Optional if you want to turn it on, or you don't want to not turn it off, right? Then the starter prompt. So these starter prompts are automatically created by itself. You can modify here, you can just make changes, and you can have up to 6 starter prompts. I think you can add more as well, but 6 is a good number to have a visually appealing agent. So now that we have all the configuration, you just click on create and it will start creating it. So even before, if you want to test your agent, you can do it on the right side of the window here. You can click on, for example, what are the available, you don't want to, okay, how can I register for a Microsoft certification exam? All right, I believe I just removed this URL here. Just gonna come here and add the knowledge source. Okay, so yeah, it's able to pull. All right, so register gives me the steps by visiting the certification page and so, scheduling the exam, and if you have any specific needs. So here you see the citation, right? So it'll give you from which website or the knowledge source it is able to pull the response, just like any other Copilot responses, right? Then it will also give you the references here, so you can continue. You can test all your interactions as and when you update your agent. Then once you're done, you just click on create, and it will create something like this. Okay, so I can go to this certification guide, and I can ask, for example, what are the certifications available for Microsoft Teams. All right, so let me ask this question. So I have a few typos here, but I think Copilot is intelligent enough to to correct their or autocorrect those typos, but make sure it's not like a big mistake where it cannot understand. A simple thing is okay. So it gives me this output here where you have two certifications, one for the Teams administrator associate and also Teams device certification program. Then I can continue the conversation here. What are the fundamental certifications available, okay, available for me to get started? All right, so I'm just asking what are the fundamental certifications, right? So it is just checking through the web results, and it gives me this list of Azure fundamentals, M365, security compliance, Power Platform fundamentals. So it cannot be, an entire list. I think we also have AI fundamentals, or MS9. I mean, I think M365 Dynamics fundamentals as well. It may not be a consolidator all the information which you can get it in the agent, but at least you get the key information. If you want to further explore, you can go to the website or the knowledge source, and you can further explore it. Okay, and then I want to show you about the SharePoint agent. So this is a SharePoint site where you have different documents, right? So it can be any documents for that matter. So it can be one from the IT policy, one for your benefits, one for your security and compliance, anything for that matter. It resides in the SharePoint site. Then I create this agent here, and SharePoint site agent is very simple. Just it gets created in one click, or you can also go ahead and edit it. So if you look at the screen here, the SharePoint Agent Builder has only three things to customize or inform: identity, your sources, and behavior. It doesn't have this knowledge sources, code interpreter, or image interpreter as like how you have it for your Copilot Chat Agent Builder here. Okay, so this is simply keeping it within the SharePoint. Okay, and then you can edit, you can change the picture, provide a description, or else if you do not want to customize, I say yes, I just click on create an agent and my open agent, right? I just click on open agent, and the agent opens at the right pane. All right, so now I can ask questions to my agent here. I click on this agent, okay, and the agent opens up. Let's say what can I ask? Okay, me first understand this. Okay, there's a course overview of Azure Desktop, right? So without opening the document, I can ask about what is the course overview of Azure DevOps. So I can ask this question without opening the document here. But remember, as a user, I should have a valid access or the permission to access particular document in the SharePoint site. Only then the Copilot, the SharePoint agent will be able to reason over the document, right? Similarly, you can ask information about any agents here, any documents which is present in this particular site. Okay, so once you have the response, this is how it looks like and gives you the references or the citations. Then you can share on the top right. If you go ahead, you can share, you can copy the link, and you can link for Teams. You can share this agent in the Teams, or you can click on share, and it will open up something similar to the a content sharing in your SharePoint site. You can add a name, you can add a group or an email address, and you can define what level of access they want in this particular agent. And then you can also manage the access, something like very similar to how you're using your SharePoint files. Same thing if you here go to this particular agent here, once you click on it, you can click on this three dots here. I'm sorry. Okay, let me go to this agent here. Okay, go to settings. Okay, Organization. Okay, all right. So I think we have to do it here. So let me go to Copilot Agent, and I click on the MS certification guide, and this is where you can share your Copilot chat agent. All right. So again, this links, you can copy the link, you can share it with, provide like anyone in your organization or specific users, or at this point the default option is only for you. Okay, so that brings us to the end of the demo, and the very high level, or to get started with agents, this is the best place. And you can get started with agents here, playing around it, and you can share it with the team, collect your responses, and then you can build upon the skills. So this is like a no code. Then we have a something like a low code, where you use your Copilot Studio itself to create an agents, and then there's a pro code level of using an agents, where you use Visual Studio or the Teams toolkit. Right. So that brings us to the end of the session. I would like to say thanks everyone for your time here. Sorry about it. Thank you so much for your time spending this evening with me for this session. And yeah, over to you, Parth. If you have any questions, just let me know.
All right. Thanks, Rajesh. That was an in-depth session on creating agents, and especially the Copilot one and the SharePoint. And since we're running out of time, we'll keep it very simple with few questions, and definitely we would love to see a part two of it because we see a lot of potential thing, especially the use case. We really liked how the electrician teams actually use the agent. That was something to think about on those cases, and definitely we have a lot of audience coming up with loads of use cases like this similar. So I'm sure they would have got an idea as to how to proceed, at least from the beginning level, and to proceed with it. This is one question I keep getting from most of the audience wherever I go for a conference, or when I do a hackathon or a workshop or a general session, is like, how secure is my data? So, in terms of what you did today, creating agents, if I upload a document, what happens to the document in the behind the scenes or in the background? So, would you like to throw some insight or thoughts on it?
Yes, so that's a great question, and I do get this question like whenever we present to any customer engagement or even on a public community conference, right? This not only applies for your agents as well, but with Copilot. So if they're accessing, or if they let the Copilot access any document, what happens to the document, or how does it go? So as I mentioned, right, the Copilot, or even the agents created by the Copilot agent builder, is all on the user interface level or at the application level. So behind the scenes, all the documents are processed as per the Microsoft 365 security governance principles. So which means that it obeys all your no data loss prevention policy, your retention policy, your security principles, your sensitivity labels, everything, etc. Right? So it obeys completely that. So Copilot doesn't have anything on its own. Rather, it just obeys the M365 security principle. So the default behavior for Get Copilot, if you have a document, when you upload it to your SharePoint and when you're sharing it with others, for example, you share it with a group of people. So what happens at that time is the same behavior which we expect, when we are using agent with Copilot. So that's what I mentioned, right? If you're using it, if you're sharing it with a user who doesn't have permission as a user to that particular SharePoint site, then he can use the agent, right? He can ask questions, but the agent would not be able to respond because it cannot reason over, because as a user, he cannot access that particular document. So the same goes for all the agents or all the Copilot interactions. Hope that answers the question.
Definitely, Rajesh. That is something we'll have to think about it, how we organize or how we label the documents, who should have an access to it, what of part of the document has to be accessed. So definitely, if I'm coming up with a part two, if you could come up with a demo very similar in accessing or uploading or working with the doc, that would be very beneficial for a more detailed understanding or in-depth understanding. Now, moving on to the other one, I see everywhere agents, AI popping up. Um, I always wanted to understand, how do you see Copilot agent transforming the way kind of we work in the next 5 years? Just your thought on it.
I think definitely it will provide, you know kind of a rapid transformative way unimaginable, right? Because right now if you see it's there, we see, like, for example, a person who doesn't work at Microsoft, or maybe not in the Microsoft technology, if they're looking at the news, right? Hey, what is this all about? Microsoft is talking about a lot of agents, and each and every event they release multiple agents in a specifically task for XYZ process or something. Once you get started using it, right, you will definitely see the benefits. And I mean, to be very honest with you, my personal experience before I started working with Copilot, right, in my previous organizations, I was just I was then thinking, like, just as another product by Microsoft, right? But I never knew it's going to be the driver for Microsoft as an organization, and for globally, for all the organizations using the AI. So within just 2 years of span, we have come up so far on the Copilot. And with the agents, right, definitely it's going to improve the business processes, and going to solve many of the organization problems. And day to day in my customer interactions, many of them say, how do I create a workflow, a simple workflow, right? For example, a marketing team was asking me, I do research, and how do I take research to a document, or from a document to a PowerPoint presentation to my stakeholders, and a PowerPoint presentation to a content in a website to publish in my organization. So definitely there are a lot of agents coming up, and also there are agents which help us learn Copilot, right? So if, for example, if you're the idea, the idea agent, or the learning agent, or even the prompt coach agent, right? So if you're not someone who is familiar with Copilot, you don't know how to use it, there are agents to teach you as well, right? So depends on what kind of use cases. And definitely in the next 5 years, it is going to be, I would say we are already in that revolution of AI, but it's going to have a transformative change. So if anyone is new, better get started at how to use Copilot and also the agents. And definitely we will be there, has seen as a power user, okay, a power user who's how to use the agents, and how we can transform the business processes as well.
Totally agree, Rajesh. That's something I think everybody should imbibe in their working culture, that AI is going to be a part of your day to day personal life, day to day activity, work, things you use. So it's always good to keep yourself updated with the
Yes.
latest in AI. But thank you. Yeah, yeah, go ahead,
Even
Rajesh.
as a consumer, right, if you're not into IT industry, even as a consumer, there's a lot of free AI tools or agents which is coming up, right? So you have to definitely keep up with that, and otherwise you will be obsolete, and probably, you might be seen as, I would say, this is not a scary term, but again, it's good to know, right? Technology is improving, and it's good to go along with the technology, and be learn and grow together. So that's one thing which I want to share with everyone, not only here, but I share this the same with, we learn together, we grow together. That's how we have been so far in this industry for the last maybe a decade or something. The next year's 5 years is going to be very fast than the last 10 years, right? So we have to make sure we adopt to that and grow together.
You nailed it, Rajesh. That is an awesome thing. So yeah, so I think we're almost done for the day. So I leave your social handles in the comment section. So if people wants to get connected with you to understand more on what you spoke today, definitely they will get in touch with you. Thank you so much for another awesome session, Rajesh. And thank you, audience, for being here, being a part of Copilot Chronicle series. And thanks, Parth, for being a great host. And looking forward for more sessions. See you, folks. Good evening.
Thank
Yep,
you.
thanks,
Thank you,
Kamal.
everyone, for
Thanks,
joining
Parth.
us
Yeah,
today.
thanks, everyone. Take
Thank you,
care. Bye bye.
Rajesh.